worms. I hope your Saturday is going so very well. Today I am going to be showing you guys the first video that I made for this vlog that I ever filmed. And it is a video about compost. And honestly, at the time, I wasn't very educated about compost. I was just kind of doing what I thought I knew. And I made this compost bin that ended up, I left it for my entire road trip. And when I came home, my beautiful, beautiful apartment was full of fruit flies. And I unfortunately had to get rid of the compost bin because it was just causing too many issues with fruit flies, and I couldn't get rid of them, and they just never leave, and I swear to God, they were everywhere all the time. And so I had to give it away to one of my friend's mom, who currently has it now, and she still uses it. She says it's doing great, but I could not keep it, and I thought about maybe never posting this video, but I put a lot of effort into it, and I just thought it would be kind of fun to actually show you guys what I did. This is my first video ever, so I was very awkward and weird and didn't know what I was doing. And I mean, I'm still awkward and weird and don't know what I'm doing, but it was really funny because this was literally like 6 months ago now. So I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will see you guys on Wednesday for another daily vlog. Bye! Okay, I got my worms and I'm really excited, and I probably look really weird right now because I'm just like standing in this Walmart holding these worms and being like, I'm excited. But now I'm here picking up the bottom bin for my compost bin to collect the compost tea. And alright, I wasn't quite sure how many to get, but I ended up getting 30 in each container. Oh, there's one right now. Oh, for a second I thought it was the blues movie. I don't even know if this is the right kind of worms, but you know, I only started with 60. There's 30 in this one, 30 in this one, because I'm going on my road trip and I'm hoping that they multiply while I'm gone. And I also don't produce that much waste, so maybe it won't be so bad. But yeah, I really don't know what I'm doing, and I'm just kind of winging it at this point, so. And now I'm gonna model my worms for you because, like, I'm nerdy AF and I thought it'd be funny. This probably isn't my first video that I'm gonna upload, but this is my first video I'm actually making. So I know it's a little bad and I'm sorry. And this is something I've been talking about for a while, making a YouTube channel and like writing a blog. But I'm really bad about actually doing things that I want to do. So as far as things like this that take a lot of time and commitment and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go head home and try to find somebody who has a drill, because I need to figure out how to drill some holes so my worms don't die. And then I'm gonna start packing for my trip and setting up my compost bin because I want to get it started before I go on my trip. That way when I get back, the worms are already settled in and I can continue making the compost and stuff like that. So this is an adventure. I have no clue what I'm doing, and hopefully I learn as I go. So yeah. Alright, I'll see y'all soon. Bye. Alright, so now I'm gonna show you guys how I am going to make my compost bin. I don't really know what I'm doing here, to be honest with you, and like I did a lot of research, but I still didn't know what I'm doing. I kind of talked to some people and they didn't know what they were doing, so you know, this is an experiment, and we'll find out in 2 weeks if it worked or not. So I've got a bunch of stuff down here. I got some garden soil. I got my 2 bins. One is for draining out all of the compost tea, and the other one is for the actual compost bin. And then I got some pots that I'm going to put all of the actual compost bin on so that it is stable. And then I got some cardboard and some newspaper and my worms. Here's all of that I just talked about. All of the beautiful stuff. And honestly, I spent $3 on this. I spent $4 on this, $5. The worms were $4 each. The box, I had a box from Girl Scout cookies that I bought last year. The newspaper was free, and then each one of the pots were 76 cents. So very affordable, honestly, not bad at all. And I've got my rabbit over here, and he is going to be creating a lot of the stuff that I throw in the compost bin, because every time I clean out his cage, I'm just gonna put all of that into the compost bin, which is one of the reasons why I am making this compost. And then I also have these eggshells that I've been keeping for every time that I've made eggs. And then while I was at work the other day, I got some cantaloupe rinds. So I'm gonna throw that in there before I go on my road trip, and we'll see how that goes. The one thing I'm worried about is the fact that I am going on this road trip and I'm not going to see what's going on for the next 2 weeks, so I could come home and there will be cockroaches everywhere and all that stuff, and I'm not a fan of that. Like, we are not living for that. So we'll find out when I get back if it works, but I'm just gonna make a video of what I'm doing. So yep, I have my friends here. We got Anaya over there and we got Chastity over here, and they're gonna help me out with videotaping and emotional support because, you know, like, yeah. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I read that it's good to start off a base with the cardboard, but you have to get it moist. So I'm gonna put the compost bin itself. I drilled some holes in it. You can probably see my eye. Yep. I drilled some holes in the bottom so that I could have the compost tea drain out. But I made the holes on the bottom for the compost tea, and then I read that you have to ventilate it. So I put some holes in the sides, and that way the worms don't die, because, you know, I just don't want them to die, especially while I'm gone, because that just doesn't seem like a good thing. And the bin is actually, I thought this was really cool when I bought it, but it is made from recycled resin, and it is sustainable, which is really cool. So not only am I using a nice bin that is sustainable to build my sustainability project, and it came with holes already in it as well, which is nice. So I got this bin down here to collect all the compost tea. And then we have the pots. I was trying to find bricks, but for some reason nobody carries bricks anywhere that I could go. So I got those, and that'll hold it up so that all of the compost tea will not suffocate the worms. So I read online that you're supposed to throw down a nice little layer of cardboard, and they will eventually eat the cardboard, but for now, that's just going to be the layer on the bottom. You don't want to have cardboard that has a lot of printing on it. So I tried to get this. It has some printing, but it's not as bad. And I ripped it up, which is nice. Took out some anger on this cardboard. And it says that you have to use a spray bottle because you don't want to, like, make it soaking wet. But, like, do I ever follow rules? No. So here we are. And then I also read that you should put some newspaper in there, and I got this when I went to a quilt shop the other day, and I'm honestly not going to read it, so I might as well throw it in here. So I'm just going to tear it up. It said to put it through a shredder, but that seems like too much work, and that means I'd have to go somewhere or buy a shredder, and I'm not a fan of that. So as soon as I get done with this, I'm going to put a layer of soil down, and I'm going to do that so that I'm going to do a layer of soil, and then I'm going to do a layer of Benicula's cage, the bedding inside, because I really need to clean it out. And I figured that if I put a layer of soil and then a layer of his bedding and then a layer of soil on top of that, the worms can go in between. I've never done vermicomposting, so I don't know how well this is going to go. I've never done actual composting either, so this is going to be fun. I built a compost bin in Costa Rica for the kids at the school in Coweta, the elementary school, and that's kind of where I got the idea. I've always wanted to do a compost bin, and I did a lot of Pinteresting to get the idea for this, but I never really knew if I'd actually do it, and now I have my own apartment, and even though the regulations say I can't have a compost bin, I'm going to do it anyway because YOLO. And I'm going to keep it in my laundry room, so I'm not going to put it outside. I originally was going to put it outside, but they said that that'll attract pests, and I'm not about to do that. So now we got some fresh Florida water. We're going to dump this in. You want to keep it moist but not drenched is what it said, which is why you're supposed to use a spray bottle. So not like that, where it's dripping out the bottom. You don't want it to be like that, which is why I put it up so that all the water can drain out now. And I got this soil. It says for in-ground use. We're not going to put it in the ground. If you know anything about Florida soil, it is trash. So a lot of people in Florida have to use garden soil like this and such. I honestly just picked up the biggest bag I could find. I don't know if this is the soil I need. I don't even know if these are the worms I need, but you know, we'll figure it out. So we're gonna dump some of this in. I'm not gonna put all of it because I'm gonna layer it. I just moved into this apartment. I'm still getting used to it. So this is my rabbit. His name is Vermicula. He's had a hurt leg for the last week, so he's been stuck in here. But I'm gonna take all of his bedding out. Yep. So rabbits are herbivores, so you're able to throw all of the bedding in, and they have a lot of amino acids and ammonia in their urine, and their poop is literally just hay, condensed hay, because that's all he eats. And this is hay that he never ate. So I'm gonna throw all of this into here. And the reason I'm composting is, number one, to save some of the trash that I throw out, because every time that you throw food into the trash, it creates methane gas when it goes to the landfill. So by reducing the trash you throw out, you're helping saving the planet. Also, I want to build a small garden for Vermicula so I can grow some of his food instead of spending all of my money on food for him. So I'm just gonna spread this out and kind of mix it up so the worms can get in between. And then I'm gonna put another layer of soil. It's heavy. Yeah, Vermicula's not a fan of all the noise I'm making. He's a scaredy cat when it comes to noise. I'm gonna throw in some of these. I'm gonna throw in the eggshells. And it said online that anytime you put any kind of food in here, you wanna cover that up with soil too. Because if you leave it on the top, you're gonna get roaches and other gross, disgusting things that I don't want in my house. So we're gonna add another layer of soil. So everything I read online also said that you wanna keep a good mixture of browns and greens in here, and it also said that worms do not like light. So I'm gonna put the worms in and they'll eventually go down to the bottom, and they'll also go towards the food and start composting and eating that immediately. So I don't know if these are the right worms. I just got what I could find, and there's only 30 of them in here, so I doubt this is actually gonna work, but they're supposed to reproduce really fast. So they're just big red worms. I was supposed to get red wrigglers, and so we don't know if this is actually gonna work, but here's my worm friend. It's kind of cute. When I was a kid, I was in love with worms, and everybody said I was eventually gonna marry a worm. And honestly, they're probably right. Single forever. These are all the worms. They're just already going down to the bottom. That one's cruising real fast. I might put a little bit more soil on top of them just to keep them very moist. I'm worried about leaving them for the next 2 weeks because I'm worried they're not going to be very moist. But I also live in Florida where the air is moist already. So we'll see. Hopefully they stay alive, and I will update you guys in the next 2 weeks. Alright, so we made a mistake and left the compost bin for 2 weeks when I went on the road trip, and it was perfectly fine until I opened it up and saw mushrooms growing in it. And I got freaked out because I'm a little baby when it comes to stuff like that. And so I just left it for another week. Kind of an idiot. There are also fruit flies everywhere! I'm scared to do that. They're not gonna, cockroaches aren't gonna crawl them out, right?
No.
Okay. You promise?
Yes. Okay. 50%.
50?
No, you're good. There's no cucarachas in there.
Alright. I don't know if this is working out, guys, but I'm just gonna put it over the holes because maybe that'll help with the fruit fly situation. And it'll make it look prettier. Worms are alive.
The worms, they don't like sunlight, but they can always hide within the bedding. So first, you start with your bedding. This could be shredded newspaper, leaves kind of shredded, anything that's kind of fine. I like to use my compost because, you know, the compost, it looks fully broken down, but the worms will really break it down further and create castings. So, you know, add this in there. You can use soil, but don't watch what soil you're using, because they don't like any soil with salt content. And that mushroom compost that goes around Orlando a lot, that's they don't like that because it has too much salt. Don't use Home Depot soil either. Try to find soil from like a nursery or, you know, something that's organic. Okay, so after you add the bedding, next step, which is wet it down a little bit. I just brought, you know, a couple fatties.
Where can you get those?
Anyone want to check those out? There's this guy. I mean, these red wigglers breed so fast, faster than rabbits. So even a small amount like that would really turn into a lot after, you know, a couple months. And, you know, you could use a small bin like this. You can use a bigger plastic tub. You can think of some cool ideas to repurpose a container. I drilled some holes in here just for a little aeration for them. You know, make sure they're able to breathe. And then I did drill some holes in the bottom. When you do wet it down, like it's not worm tea, but it's like leachate from all that organic matter and food waste, and there's definitely some worm tea in there. I think it's typically good stuff. So at my house, I like to keep my worm bin on top of a bucket like this, and then I'll like water them and then catch all that moisture that falls through, and that will be what I just add to my plants. It's, you know, it's pretty good stuff. All right, so after you add the bedding, wet it down, you add your worms. And a great tool to use that I forgot to bring is one of those like 3-prong trowels that, you know, doesn't hurt them, but you can kind of rake through. But I would say give it like, you know, keep adding food waste, and, you know, since I only added a little bit, maybe just a little bit of food waste, like 1 banana peel, give it like 3 months, no, maybe 6 months, and you'll have finished worm castings. And the way to clean those out, this is a little trick I learned from a guy, but you basically move all your bedding to one side with the worms, and then you put down new bedding on this side, and you put down the food waste on top of that. You do all that to start like a new bin. You wait a few days, the worms will have migrated over to where the food is at, leaving behind their worm castings, and that's what you can harvest, which is valuable, and it's great for your plants. It really adds a lot of life to them. And then I would probably just wet it down one more time. Alrighty, I think that's it for a worm bin.
Hey, what are you doing?